For example, in Grand Theft Auto, or we call it as GTA, you run around picking up jobs in an imaginary city. These jobs range from killing union workers to stealing privacy automobiles and being sexually violent towards women. Therefore, GTA 5 has been banned from all Australian stores and some countries in Asia as well, as it portrays so many violent acts, especially towards women. The next example is Conker's Bad Fur Day. In Conker's Bad Fur Day game, you play as a playful cartoon squirrel that drinks beer and urinates on the enemy to defeat him. Therefore, in the Journal of the American Medical Association, 90% of the games played today actually reward the player to injure another person, and these were the games that rated as teens. These types of gratuitous violence portrayed in video games transfer over into the everyday lives of these children. Studies of children exposed to violence have shown that they can become immune or numb to the horror of violence. Next is PUBG. PUBG is a very, very famous and popular game, especially here in Malaysia. However, there are some countries that have decided to ban this game because it portrays so many violent acts towards other people in the game. Therefore, some of the countries that has decided to ban PUBG are China, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Korea, Jordan, Nepal, Israel, and Iraq, and also India. Next is New Zealand, the case of Christchurch mosque attacks. New Zealand chief censor has decided to ban a video game that appears to glorify the Christchurch mosque shooting that killed 51 Muslim people there. The game has been freely available in New Zealand for several weeks after the killing incident. In it, the player goes on a shooting spree in a scenario that mimics a live stream. It includes several direct references to the mosque attack, and the main character's name is Brenton Torrent, which is the killer itself. Therefore, even if video games and computer games do not directly create killers and murderers out of the young people, they may tend to contribute towards insensitivity and indifference towards violence. This is worrying because it may change the profile of the society in the longer run, and you do not want to add insult to injury. Next, I will explain the second negative impact of video games to the younger generation, which is isolation and poor social skills. Social disconnection is a real problem in the gaming community. Out of all the negative effects of video games, this one is touted a lot. Though we play multiplayer games, we rarely end up connecting with the people in our game. Some communities are more conducive to authentic human interaction than others. However, those are the exception. Isolation can be extremely detrimental to your mental health. Evolution did not design human beings to be solitary creatures. We thrive in groups where we can support each other. Therefore, an Iranian study done on second grade students in 2009 found that individuals who were addicted to video games tend to have lower social skills than those who were not. Social interaction is a skill, and if you spend most of your time alone in your room playing games and not interacting with other people in your life, then that skill will deteriorate. That can lead to social anxiety, which makes the problem even worse. And therefore, this creates an adverse impact on individual growth, mental, and physical development. Therefore, games can be a modern convenience. They keep kids home, they keep them engaged, and they allow adults to engage in their own chosen activities. But letting kids disappear into the basement or their rooms for long periods to play games may not be the best, as this can be especially true for children with the challenges of antisocial traits. Next, last but not least, I will explain the third negative impact of video games towards the younger generation, which is decrease in academic and school performance. Playing video games has negative impact on one's education. Studies have shown that out of 4 children, playing video games interferes with academic performance of one child. Some children spend most of their time playing video games to the extent of not sparing some time to do their homework. Others dedicate all their time to playing games so they do not study. Therefore, a study by Argosy University, Minnesota School on Professional Psychology found that video games addicts argue a lot with their teachers, fight a lot with their friends, and score lower grades than others who play video games less often. Other study shows that many game players routinely skip their homework to play games, and many students admitted that their video games habits are often responsible for poor school grades. Therefore, students they will spend hours and hours in front of the screen and to play video games, and this will exhibit fatigue and regularly sleep during school. And due to hours spent playing video games, they may not complete their assignment or may not turn assignments in on time, and this affect their lives because without education there are no good jobs for them. Therefore, I hope I can therefore that is the conclusion of all the three main impacts of playing video games towards the younger generation. I hope I have convinced you that video games addiction has many negative impacts to the people, especially the younger generation, as it leads to several terrible consequences, such as increased aggression and violence, isolation in post social skills, and last but not least, decrease in academic and school performance. Therefore, the causes of excessive video games are complex and can vary greatly, but the effects have the potential to be severe. Therefore, in June 2018, the World Health Organization (WHO) has named gaming addiction as a mental health disorder because kids can and do become addicted to video games. Playing video games can and should be a fun activity for all people to enjoy, but just like everything else, the amount of time one spends playing video games needs to be balanced with personal and social responsibilities. Remember, kids, prevention is always better than cure. Thank you.